The wrong door shattered at the wrong moment. Splinters of wood sprayed across the hardwood floor as three police officers charged into the apartment. Their flashlights slashed through the darkness like blades, beams catching fragments of wreckage in the air. The lead detective's boot crushed the broken frame underfoot, his sergeant close behind with a steady hand resting on his holstered weapon. Their captain brought up the rear, scanning the ruined entry with a cold, deliberate gaze. In the bedroom, Evelyn Cross, a black woman, bolted upright, sheets tangling around her legs. Harsh light blinded her as the beams hit her face. She was wearing only a tank top and underwear, suddenly exposed in the most violent way possible. Hands where we can see them, Cole Renner barked. Slowly, deliberately, Evelyn raised her hands. The room around her was already unrecognizable. Drawers yanked open, furniture overturned, papers scattered like leaves in a storm. But her eyes adjusted quickly, not with panic, but with purpose. She wasn't looking at the mess. She was studying faces, memorizing badge numbers, noting every move. That's when Renner's flashlight beam froze. On the far wall hung a navy blue jacket. Across the back, in bold gold letters, was one unmistakable word: FBI. The light lingered on the letters for 3 long seconds. None of them acknowledged it. The radio at Renner's hip crackled. Frank Dwyer's breathing grew heavier. The energy in the room shifted, but they pressed on anyway. Renner moved toward the nightstand, pulling open Evelyn's purse with practiced ease. Too practiced. He slipped a small plastic bag into a side pocket before drawing it back out again. Well, well, he said with a smirk. The powder inside caught the flashlight beam, gleaming like a trap. Evelyn's lips curved into the faintest smile. On the dresser, plain as day, sat her federal credentials folder. They had walked right past it. The sergeant rummaged through her closet now. His hands trembled slightly as he pushed through hangers. Good. He should be nervous. She sat straighter in bed, her voice clear. I need to see your warrant. The detective's head snapped toward her. We don't need a warrant for a noise complaint, sweetheart. Her tone didn't falter. You do for a search this invasive. You've gone well past the scope of any noise complaint. The sergeant froze mid-search. Her authority cracked through the tension. The detective's jaw tightened. What are you? Some kind of lawyer. I know my rights under the Fourth Amendment, she replied evenly. And this is an illegal search. From the doorway, the captain finally stepped forward. Ma'am, we received reports of drug activity at this address. She locked eyes with him. From whom, and what specific probable cause justified breaking down my door? The three men exchanged nervous glances. Smoke hung in the silence. It was the sergeant who finally spoke. Anonymous tip. Said you were dealing. Anonymous tips don't justify warrantless searches of private residences, she answered. The detective's face darkened. You think you're smart? I think you're violating federal law. The detective leaned closer, lowering his voice. Listen, lady, we found drugs in your place. You can cooperate, or we can make this very hard. What would you do if police stormed your home in the middle of the night, planted evidence, and dared you to stay silent? Before we go further, what city or country are you watching from right now? Drop it in the comments. We love seeing where our viewers are tuning in from. And if you believe no one should be above the law, smash that like button and subscribe to Story Arc, because justice starts with exposing the truth. Her expression stayed cool. Are you threatening me? I'm giving you options. She studied his face. Option 1, you want me to confess to crimes I didn't commit. Option 2, you manufacture new charges. The room went still. Only the faint crackle of radio static broke the silence. You've got a smart mouth, the sergeant snapped. I have constitutional rights, she replied. The detective pulled handcuffs free, the metal clinking sharply. You're under arrest for possession of a controlled substance. As the cuffs bit into her wrists, she angled her body toward the glowing chest cams. Her voice rang out, clear and deliberate. I'm being arrested on planted evidence. These officers entered without a warrant or probable cause. I never consented to this search. Shut up, the detective hissed. I have the right to remain silent, she continued, but I also have the right to speak. This is a false arrest based on fabricated evidence. The sergeant's grip tightened as he yanked her to her feet. Move. She complied, but her words didn't stop. I am requesting immediate legal counsel. I am requesting a supervisor. I am requesting a review of your body camera footage. Each request rang out precise, following procedure like a manual. Her knowledge was too sharp, too professional. The men exchanged uneasy glances. They had no idea that every second of this farce was being captured, not just on their cameras, but on hers. Inside the Rivergate police station, fluorescent lights buzzed overhead as Evelyn was marched through the booking area. The cuffs bit into her wrists, but her expression never wavered. She cataloged everything, their rough grabs, the unnecessary shoves, each protocol violation stacking like bricks in a case file only she could see. At the booking desk, Sergeant Dwyer rattled off charges. Cocaine possession, resisting arrest. Evelyn's voice was steady. I didn't resist arrest. The desk sergeant frowned, his pen hovering. Something in her tone didn't match the charges, but Detective Renner cut him off sharply. She knows her rights, won't shut up about them. Fingerprinting, photographs, personal property inventory, each step moved forward. When the desk sergeant opened her wallet, he paused. Says here you work for the federal government. Renner's hand froze over the keyboard. Process it, but the system didn't lie. As the sergeant typed, the computer cross-referenced federal databases. A flashing warning lit up the screen. Evelyn Cross, FBI, 15-year veteran, current assignment, Public Corruption Unit. Renner's jaw clenched. He leaned closer, whispering to Dwyer, "We can still bury this." Across the building, Officer Leah Monroe sat in the equipment room like rows of body cameras charging around her. She scrolled through the raid footage. Timestamp 2117. Door exploding inward. Evelyn raising her hands. Renner rifling through her purse. Monroe's stomach twisted as she watched his hands slide the baggie into the pocket, then triumphantly pull it back out. It was too smooth, too practiced. Monroe hit rewind, then play again. The drugs weren't discovered, they were planted. And now the cameras held undeniable proof. Her phone buzzed with a text from Renner. Delete the body cam footage. Equipment malfunction. She stared at the message, her pulse pounding. Delete it, and she became complicit. Save it, and she betrayed men she had trained with, men who called themselves her brothers in blue. She typed back, copy that. But her hands moved differently. She uploaded the footage to a secure federal server, the same system Evelyn had been using for months. When the upload completed, Monroe closed her eyes and dialed a number she'd memorized in training, the FBI tip line. This is Officer Monroe, Rivergate Police. We've taken a federal agent into custody. Silence. Then a sharper voice. Repeat that. We arrested a federal agent intentionally, I believe. Name's Evelyn Cross, FBI Public Corruption Unit. Typing clattered through the line. Where is she? Holding cell. They're pushing drug charges. Are the drugs real? Monroe closed her eyes. Planted. I have it on body cam. The voice hardened. Do not let that footage disappear. We're sending a team. Keep her safe. The call ended. Assistant Director Marcus Hale jolted awake when his secure phone buzzed on the nightstand. Federal Emergency Protocol. He answered on the first ring. Hale. Sir, this is Agent Cross's handler. We have a situation. Hale sat upright, already pulling on clothes. Evelyn Cross was his best undercover investigator. 15 years in the Bureau, 18 months buried deep inside a department thick with rumors of corruption. She's been arrested, the voice continued. Drug possession charges. Hale's jaw tightened. The arresting officers? Are they her targets? Yes, sir. They planted evidence. Body camera confirmation. Before Hale could answer, another alert flashed across his secure tablet. Evelyn's emergency beacon had just activated. That signal was reserved for one scenario only. Life-threatening danger. Full response now, Hale ordered. Within minutes, federal tactical teams were mobilizing, legal teams prepping sealed warrants, surveillance vans locking onto Rivergate Police communications. Inside interview room 3, Evelyn sat handcuffed at a metal table. Detective Renner spread a thick folder in front of her. Let's talk about your drug business, he said with false confidence. I don't use or distribute cocaine, Evelyn replied evenly. The evidence says different. The planted evidence, she corrected. Renner slammed a fist against the table. Stop saying that. Evelyn leaned forward, her voice low, deliberate. Then stop planting evidence. The words unsettled him. He pressed closer, trying to intimidate her. But Evelyn's next sentence made his face drain of color. I think you've been under federal investigation for 2 years. Operation Iron Justice. Ring any bells? The detective froze. That name was classified. Only federal investigators and high-level corruption targets knew it existed. Outside the room, panic spread. Through thin walls, Evelyn heard urgent whispers, frantic phone calls, the scrambling of men who realized they had just arrested the very woman investigating them. Meanwhile, Hale's teams closed in. Surveillance vans intercepted police radio chatter, destruction orders, cover-up instructions, officers telling each other to wipe the cams. Too late for that. Hale muttered as his analysts uploaded every intercepted file straight to federal servers. At 3 a.m., black SUVs ringed Rivergate Police Station. Tactical agents locked into position. Hale's voice came through steady as iron. All units, federal authority is now in effect. Inside, Renner tried to steady his breathing, but he could already hear the sound of heavy boots approaching. At dawn, Rivergate Police Station shook under the weight of federal authority. Black SUVs boxed in the building, FBI tactical units sweeping through every entrance. Hale himself led the charge. His voice echoed through the lobby like a verdict. Federal Bureau of Investigation. This facility is now under federal jurisdiction. Chaos erupted. Some officers froze with their hands raised, others scrambled to cover files, but resistance was useless. Federal agents secured the evidence rooms, seized computers, and downloaded body cam archives straight to Bureau servers. Every secret the department tried to bury was already in federal hands. Captain Holt emerged pale and cornered. Hale met him with no hesitation. Captain Holt, you're under arrest for conspiracy to violate civil rights. The words carried the weight of iron. Detective Renner and Sergeant Dwyer weren't spared either. Both were pinned to the wall, cuffed, and read charges of evidence tampering, false imprisonment, and deprivation of rights under color of law. Their badges meant nothing now. Then came the silence that broke them completely. Evelyn Cross entered, no longer in handcuffs. She wore her FBI windbreaker, badge displayed like a shield. Hale held it high for the entire station to see. Special Agent Evelyn Cross, lead investigator, Operation Iron Justice. Shock rippled through the room. For 15 years, she had tracked corruption, documented planted evidence, recorded illegal searches. Now she revealed the scope. 23 officers indicted, half the department implicated. Renner buckled when Evelyn read his record aloud. 17 evidence plantings, 43 unlawful searches, 26 civil rights violations. Dwyer slumped as his own file was exposed. Even Holt, once untouchable, closed his eyes as charges of running a criminal enterprise under color of law sealed his fate. Months later, the trial gripped the nation. Boxes of evidence towered in federal court, body cam footage, transcripts, hidden recordings, every violation cataloged. Guilty verdicts rained down. Renner sentenced to 20 years. Dwyer 12, Holt 15. Reporters swarmed Evelyn outside the courthouse. What message does this send? Her answer was steady. Justice requires patience, courage, and persistence. Truth doesn't vanish, it waits to surface. Officer Monroe, now a federal task force witness, joined her. She had chosen conscience over corruption, and her testimony had been pivotal. Evelyn looked back at the courthouse, then forward toward her next assignment. The work never ended, but for this city, justice had finally arrived. If you believe no one is above the law, not even those who wear the badge, smash that like button and subscribe to Story Arc, because real justice only begins when the truth is exposed.